Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, Kate's Fashion Flips. In today's video, we're going to go through 1 week of my online sales as a part-time clothing reseller between the dates of October 12th through October 18th. I have 2 sales on Vinted for this particular week, which is crazy because I never make sales on Vinted, and sales on eBay have been especially good. Sales on Poshmark were a little slow this week, but they have picked back up. So let's dive into my sales.
All right, guys, let's get into these sales. But before I do, I want to quickly mention Prime Lister, which is the Poshmark automation tool that I use. If you do sell on Poshmark and you don't have a Poshmark automation tool yet, you need to get one because Poshmark is an app where you have to continuously share your items and relist your items. That's just how Poshmark works, and I use Prime Lister and I love it. So right here on my activity page on Prime Lister, you can see that Prime Lister today, for me, without me having to do any work, has shared my closet 3,140 times. It's relisted 5 items. It's shared my items into Poshmark parties 696 times. I've return followed 101 people. I've created 12 bundles. I've community shared, so I've shared other people's closets and listings 1,887 times. I have had 11 offers sent to likers, and I've returned shared people's stuff 1,049 times, and I have followed 2,242 new closets. So all that work was done for me, and I didn't have to lift a finger because it's cloud-based, didn't have to have my computer up or anything. So highly recommend checking out Prime Lister. I will have a link in my description as well as the first comment. And I believe that gets you 30% off your first month. There's some type of discount and it's really good. I started Prime Lister a month or 2 into my reselling career back in 2023, and I have never looked back. So highly recommend them. All right. So I actually have 2 Vinted sales for this 1 week, which is crazy that I made not just 1 Vinted sale, but 2, because I have not made a Vinted sale in months. But I just noticed when I went onto Vinted here that they have like a $1 something cents shipping discount right now. So only having to pay around $2 for shipping costs when you buy something is a really good discount. So maybe that's why I made 2 sales in this 1 week, but I haven't made any Vinted sales since. So I don't know what's going on. But this first sale on Vinted is this pair of Madewell black 9-inch mid-rise skinny stretch button-through raw hem jeans size 29. In my description, I had a paragraph which came directly from Madewell's website. I just copy and pasted it from the listing on Madewell's website for this exact jeans style. And then I put the keywords casual, neutral, everyday, cute, trendy, and school. I paid $3 for these at the Goodwill outlet. They sold for an offer of $25, which makes my profit $22, because if you don't know, there are like no fees on Vinted. There is like a buyer fee. So right here you can see the $35, which is how much I originally had these priced for, and then $37.45 is how much the buyer actually pays plus shipping. So the buyer has to pay like a service fee, which is how I think Vinted makes their money. But yeah, my profit is $22 from this sale. These did take 118 days to sell. I did pick these up because they came from the bins, but I have not picked up Madewell jeans for a while now. I will only pick up Madewell jeans if they're a reasonable price and if they're a flare leg or a wide leg, because every other style of Madewell jeans is just very oversaturated, takes a while to sell, and doesn't sell for very much. Some Madewell pants styles can do well, but in terms of Madewell jeans, they're just very oversaturated. The second thing that I sold on Vinted was this Ines Crafts dark green Ireland 100% merino wool cable knit zip sweater size medium. In my description, I put the keywords layering neutral, winter warmth, thick travel outdoor, quality knit, jacket Christmas and mock neck. I got this from the Goodwill outlet for around $4. It sold for an offer of $30, which is less than I was hoping it would sell for. But because it sold on Vinted and there are no fees, that makes my earnings $26. This did take 394 days to sell, so almost 400 days, which is abysmal. I don't know why this took so long to sell. I mean, it's a very quality piece. It was 100% merino wool. It's cable knit. It's thick. When the buyer received it, she actually messaged me saying, "Hey, has this been shrunk at all?" And I said, "I don't think so. It didn't look shrunk or anything." I included a picture of measurements like I always did. And she wasn't rude or anything. She was just curious, "Hey, has this been shrunk?" And I said, "I don't think so. Did you see the measurements?" And she said, "Yes, it's just too short for me." And I was kind of confused. I'm like, "Well, then did you actually check measurements if it's too short for you?" But yeah, I think she still left me a good review and everything. But I don't know why people don't check the measurements and then actually measure themselves if they're not sure if something is going to fit them. But yeah, this didn't look shrunk or anything. I don't know why this took so long to sell because this is a very quality item, but happy that it did finally sell. All right, moving on now to Mercari. I made one sell. This is a Torrid tan studded Divorcee classic slip-on feminine neutral flats size 12 WW, which I think means like super wide. So like the toe box is very wide. And then I got this description, I believe directly from Torrid's website. And then I just put the keywords going out and business casual. I did pay $6 for these. They only sold for $17. Comps were kind of all over the place when I checked them before I bought these at the thrift store. I was thinking I could sell them for around $25 because that is how much I have sold a pair of Torrid heels before. But these ones were a little bit more minimalist. They weren't a pair of heels and they kept getting likers on Mercari. And so I just kept sending out lower offers. And I think the buyer offered me 17. And since I'd had them for 191 days, I accepted that $17 offer, which makes my profit $9.30. And like I said, this took 191 days to sell. Cord is a brand which does retail for like a good amount. Like I don't know if I'd consider it a mall brand, but a lot of their pieces are not worth picking up. I will usually pick up Torrid if I find it at the Goodwill outlet, but I pass over 99% of their stuff at the regular thrift store. But shoes are a different story. And so, yeah, just happy that these sold. Not sure if I'd pick those up again, though, because I think they only retailed for 60, maybe $70. All right, moving on now to Depop. Depop popped off for me, which is wonderful. Depop has been very fruitful for me, although my most recent review on Depop was really, really bad. We will get into that when we talk about the thing that sold. So this is a vintage navy blue embroidered button-up festival granola girl vest size large. In my description, I put the keywords whimsy goth, fairy grunge, earthy forest, boho, bohemian, artsy rodeo, cowgirl, floral, and denim. I paid $5 for this vest at the thrift store, and I actually got this vest for myself because I thought it was just like beautiful, gorgeous, and I would love more unique vests like this for myself to wear. When I got it home, I realized it's kind of big and I never checked the size or anything. There was no size tag or brand tag anywhere. It sold for an offer of $19. I think I could have gotten my full asking price because it had 60 likes when the time it sold, and it only took 6 days to sell. But I am glad that it sold so quickly, be it even, a few dollars less than I could have gotten. And it measured at a size large. I just put that there was no size tag and that it measured at a size large, but please check measurements. I mean, I always include measurements, but I will specifically put in the description, please check measurements because although I have it labeled as a size large, there is no actual size tag. So that makes my profit $12.79. And yeah, it took 6 days to sell. One thing I've noticed about Depop, which I think I've mentioned on What Sold videos before, but I will say it again, is that Depop likes flat lays and model photos over hanger pictures. They do not like clothing on hangers for some reason. They just don't push them out. They're lower in the search algorithm. So not sure why that is. All right, next sale is this skirt, which was another style-based pickup. This is an ink black tiered boho festival cowgirl hippie casual stretchy midi skirt size medium. In my description, I put the keywords bohemian, modest, neutral, flowy, and country. I paid $4 for this at the Goodwill outlet, and it sold for an offer of $19.20, making my profit $13.98, and this took 29 days to sell. This style of skirt is a style that always sells very well for me. It will sell faster or quicker depending on the colorway, but midi to maxi length skirts that are tiered sell for me. I don't know what it is, unless the print is like very out there or ugly. I can usually get them to sell within that 90-day mark for around $18 to $25. So finding this at the Goodwill outlet was a no-brainer to buy and flip because it's just a style that does really, really well for me because you can put keywords like boho, festival, but it's also modest and flowy, and it's like the perfect closet staple to wear like at any event. So I think that's why items like styles that are very similar to that one sell. Okay, so here is the recent sale that got me the bad review, the super bad review. So this is a Tom McAn brown leather slip-on buckle comfort boho low heel clogs size 7.5. In my description, I put the keywords neutral casual, minimalist travel, granola girl versatile, supportive, and feminine. So I paid $5 for these at the Goodwill outlet, and I mostly got them for style-based reasons. I feel like clogs are kind of cute and in style right now and kind of fit into the granola girl aesthetic, and these were in really, really good condition. So I picked them up for $5 at the Goodwill outlet. They sold for an offer of $21, making my profit $14.71. These did take 256 days to sell, though, so quite a while, but I was just tempted to pick these up because of the style. Tom McAn, I believe, is a vintage brand or a brand that's not sold anymore because I once picked up a pair of Tom McAn sandals for myself. But yeah, these look like they've maybe been worn a few times, but I got a really, really bad review. So I'll show you guys. So if I go here and I go to my reviews, and this first review is really bad. It says, love the look, but very obvious large irreparable hole in side stitching at right side pinky toe area. Super disappointing. And I did not see any hole. Okay, these look like flawless condition. Looking at the pictures too, like the stitching looks completely intact. So I don't know if the buyer was lying, but then I messaged them privately and I said, hey, that review was really harsh, right? Like 1 star, because they never even reached out to me, right? Usually buyers will reach out to me before leaving a bad review saying, hey, can you fix this, blah, blah, blah. Or they'll make a case, but this person didn't make a case or anything. Had they reached out nicely and said, hey, there's this flaw, I probably would have sent them a refund whether I believed them or not. And so I said, hey, next time you can just ask for a refund or open a case. I didn't say that. I just said, next time you can ask for a refund. She said sorry, and she said that she's new to the app, but still, that is my most recent review, which is 1 star. And she also said that there was another hole in the other shoe. So her review said there was a hole in one shoe, but then when I was messaging her, she said that there was a hole in both shoes. So I don't know if I believe her. I mean, she seemed genuine, so maybe I just completely missed 2 massive holes, but I didn't see them. So I'm kind of confused, but I mean, I still kept the money. I just paid for it with the bad review. So that kind of sucks. I would have preferred to give her the refund and not get such a bad review. But that is okay. Hopefully, I haven't made a sale since that bad review. And I noticed it a couple days late because I was on vacation. I just got back from Disney World, or else I would have replied and messaged her sooner. All right, next sale is this scarf. This is a Black Sparkle Glam Sequin Whimsy Goth Costume Going Out Fringe Open Knit Scarf. In my keywords, in my description, I put the keywords metal, party, and dark fairy. I paid $1 for this at the Goodwill outlet. Probably even less than that, but around $1. And I had it listed for 15. It sold for $11, which is an offer that I don't remember accepting or sending out. So sometimes that happens on Depop. Like I must accept offers in my sleep or something. But yeah, sold for $11, which I'm not mad about because Depop's fees are so low. So that makes my profit $9.11. And this only took 30 days to sell. I do like to pick up scarves from the Goodwill outlet. This one was unbranded, but it was really cool. It was like sparkly and it had sequins. So really cool piece. I wonder if somebody even maybe bought it for a costume. One more sale on Depop. We have another Harley Davidson shirt. I went to a yard sale like a month and a half ago now, and they had all of these vintage Harley Davidson shirts, some men's, some women's, and here is another one to sell, so that's great. This is a vintage Harley Davidson motorcycle green long sleeve Y2K shirt, size large. There was some fading at the seams, but I don't feel like that matters too much when it comes to vintage t-shirts. In my description, I put the keywords biker 2000s, streetwear, casual, and retro. I paid $5 for this. It sold for an offer of $19, making my profit $12.79, and this took 28 days to sell. I did do a flat lay with this one because with graphic t-shirts, it's kind of hard to show them on a hanger, and also with Depop preferring flat lays and model pictures, I decided to flat lay this item, and I think that that was a good choice. All right, moving on now to Poshmark. I did have a slower week this week. It was really weird. I had like a random, really slow week on Poshmark, but then this past week I was on vacation, so my Poshmark store was turned off, but then as soon as I turned it back on, the sales and offers started flowing in. So that is wonderful. But first thing to sell on Poshmark this week, or the week 2 weeks ago that we're talking about, is this Robert Kitchen yellow Y2K 90s linen blend cottagecore beachy tie-up shrug, size small. In my description, I put the keywords lightweight, cardigan, breathable, minimalist, vacation, Hawaii, travel, ribbed, long sleeve, knit, boho, shawl, fall, and layering. I think that I spelled shawl wrong. I think it's spelled SHAWL. I got this at a regular thrift store for $5, which I think was, oh wait, no, not $5. I'm looking at the wrong statistic. I paid $4 for this. Okay, so still a little too much, I think, to pay for a piece like this. Had I got this from the bins, that would have been a lot better. But it only sold for $15, which I was very happy about because I've had this piece for more than a year. So that makes my profit $7.40, and this took 377 days to sell. So ouch. The reason I got this was because I thought it was very like Y2K-esque, and I loved the color. I loved that it was a linen blend, and I thought it could go multiple ways, like beachy, but also minimalist. But anyway, it took way too long to sell. I would not pick up a piece like this again. I tried to sell this in 2 different markets, or no, one. I tried to sell it in one market, and then I think I might have even ran it in a whatnot show, but happy that that is sold. All right. Where am I? Oh, yeah, right here. Next sell is kind of another mid sell. This is a Pologram blue wide leg adjustable boho dungarees. I'm not actually sure how you say that, but dungarees, jumpsuit, overalls, size small. In my description, I put the keywords baggy, big front pockets, lightweight, neutral, utility, streetwear, and cottagecore. I felt like this pair of overalls could go a lot of different ways, so that's why I kind of put keywords that are a little conflicting with each other. I paid $7 for this at a Savers thrift store. It only sold for $20, but I was very happy with this sale still nonetheless because I'd had this sitting for 409 days, so good riddance to this being gone. My profit is only $9, but I'm okay with that because I've had it forever. The reason I got this was for style-based reasons. I feel like, I don't just feel like, it is true that overalls have a good resale value, but depending on the brand and how much you paid for them are factors you should consider when picking up overalls. And I think that this was just, I don't know, a no-name brand, but I do think the style was cute. Maybe if it was a larger size too, it would have sold faster, but happy to have the $9 profit. Probably would pick this piece up again, but only if I found it for like $3 or less. All right. Next sale is a bra, and this is a bra from a brand. I have no idea about this brand. I've never come across it before or since this pickup. It's this new Every Woman Knows black, lacy, sexy, supportive, stretchy, cute bra, size 46. In my description, I put the keywords neutral, underwire, comfy bows, mesh, everyday, and honeymoon. I got this at the Goodwill outlet for $1. It sold for $15, making my profit $10. Or I guess I put my cost of goods as $2. So I must have like taken a loss that day, but sold for 15, making my profit 10. This took 372 days though to sell. I just got it because I couldn't find much about the brand online when I Googled it, but I thought I only paid $1 to $2. It would have been even less had I taken no losses this day, and it was new with tags. So probably would pick this up again for around $1 because it took up like no space in my inventory. I made $10 and I'm not bad about it. All right. Next sale is actually a really good sale, like a really good sale. Like this made up for the low amount of sales because this was such a high dollar sale. So this is a pair of Fry gray leather buckle pull-on outdoor Veronica short boots, size 7.5B. In my description, I put the keywords equestrian, grunge, going out, casual, and neutral. I only paid, well, actually, there was a $6 price tag sticker and then an $8 price tag sticker on these. I believe they charged me $8, which is completely fine. Still really good for a pair of Fry boots in this good of a condition. And I had them listed for 100. I accepted an $85 offer, making my profit $60, which is amazing. And these only took 9 days to sell. I found a lot of good shoes this day at this Deseret Industries thrift store. And I think this is the only pair of boots I picked up that day. Maybe I picked up a different pair, but there's like this boot section at this thrift store, and most of the shoes are cheapy, but like the taller boots kind of overlap the shorter boots. But I think I spotted the Fry logo, and then I pulled them out, and I thought, no way are these Fry. And then when I looked up comps for this specific Fry boot style, I was super excited. So very happy with this sale. Let me see if I can pull up the specific Fry logo. It's kind of hard to see. It's right there if you can see it. But yeah, keep an eye out for that Fry logo. Definitely a major bolo. And then going back to another mid-sale, moving out older inventory definitely is this vintage ivy maroon floral embroidered knit oversized gramacore sweater size small. In my description, I put the keywords crochet, cozy, 90s warm, rainy cotton, fall winter one of a kind, long, drop shoulder thick quality, and pullover. Dang. I used to put like way more keywords than I do now. I'm working on listing faster, and so I'll average at like 5 keywords now, but I used to average at like 10 to 15, I feel like. So I paid $5 for this. I'm not sure where. I think it came from an estate sale, and it sold for an offer of 15, which I'm very okay with because it took 381 days to sell. That makes my profit $7. I thought that this sweater was really cute, very grandma core. This is kind of sad, but I had an in-person market, and it was like a baby, it was mostly like people who were selling baby clothes and maternity clothes and toys at this market. But then I signed up to sell women's vintage clothes, and I paid $25 for the booth space, and it was like 30 minutes away both ways. So I had an hour driving time, and I had preparation time tagging all my items. Needless to say, I made not a single sale that day. So I lost gas money and time spent and my $25 cost for the booth. And this was one of the things, though, that I had in the booth. And luckily, it sold like a week after that booth. So kind of, kind of recoup some of that money. But yeah, it was so sad. I didn't make a single sale at that market. That is the second market that I've ever tried. My first market went a little better, but yeah, I'm not a market girly. I don't see the profit in it. All right. And then we have one more sale, which is a very interesting sale. And I love sales like this. It is one of my favorite things to sell in my business, even if it isn't high dollar. So this is a Stonebridge green linen blend, colorful cat print, whimsical maxi skirt, size 2X. In my description, I put the keywords crazy cat lady, summer, spring, unique, modest, bohemian, boho, fairy, fun, kindergarten, and teacher. So this had a lot of good factors going for it. This was a maxi length skirt, which maxi length skirts inherently already have value. This was a linen blend. It was a size 2X, so a plus size. And I don't even think I realized it was a plus size when I picked it up. The main reason I got it was because it was vintage and it had this really cool kind of printed cat detail on the bottom. These two kind of quirky, artsy cats, or these three quirky, artsy cats. And yeah, it sold in a timely manner. I paid $6 for it. It sold for $21, making my profit $10.80, and it only took 36 days to sell. So perfect bread and butter sale. When I was taking pictures of it, I thought, should I steam it? Because it was pretty wrinkly and I didn't want to, but I'm glad I didn't. And yeah, this was like such a cool piece. It was a linen blend, and keep an eye out for like stuff that has cat prints. It doesn't even have to be like vintage, or like horse prints or dog prints, but in my opinion, cat printed stuff is the money maker. All right, moving on over now to eBay, where we have a butt ton of sales. Like my eBay sales compared to my Poshmark sales are like there's like 3 times as many. So this first sale is this Talbot's Navy colorful 100% merino wool, perfect long sleeve feminine sweater size, or I didn't even put size, I just put XL. In my description, I put the keywords artsy, multicolor, lightweight, going out, mature, and quiet luxury. I paid $6 for this sweater. It sold for $19, which is less than I would have liked, but that makes my profit $8.44. This did take 159 days to sell. I do like to pick up Talbots sometimes. It has to have specific factors. This was a size extra large, so not quite a plus size. Had it been like a size 2X, it probably would have sold quicker. The main reason I got this was because it was 100% merino wool. It had some light pilling, but yeah, it was a really cute shirt. And I'm glad that I was able to find a stock photo, but not a huge profit, and probably something that I'll be wary of picking up in the future. This next sale is this Missoni black wool blend, classic sleeveless sheath knee-length midi dress, size medium. In my description, I put the keywords neutral, business casual, professional, feminine quality, button accents, v-neck, and contemporary. This had no size tag, but I measured at a size medium, so I just said in my description, please check measurements. Missoni is a very, very expensive brand. Okay, I've sold a pair of Missoni pants for like over $150 before. But this was just sitting and sitting and sitting. It was very plain, not colorful. It was a wool blend, but I couldn't find it on my sheet too. Like when I went down to put in my information and how much it sold for, I couldn't find it on my sheet anywhere. So it must have gotten lost when I transferred from my old Excel sheet to my new one. But I believe I paid only $2.50 for this because I remember that thrift trip day, and like I found a Trina Turk dress and this dress. They're both black, and I paid $2.50 each because they were originally $5 each, and there was a 50% off sale. So that was amazing. But yeah, only sold for $20, which I'm very happy with because I bought this dress back in July of 2024. So it's been more than a year, and it was time to say goodbye to this dress. I recently picked up a Missoni tank top that I have yet to list, but that one is colorful, and I bet that that one's going to sell for more than this black Missoni dress did. We have another pair of Madewell jeans to sell. This is a pair of Madewell black mid-rise, sleek, stretchy, casual, flattering kick-out jeans, size 28. In my description, I put the keywords neutral, everyday, closet staple, capsule wardrobe, and contemporary. This kick-out style, I think, is definitely more desirable than skinny. I do believe I looked up comps and sell-through rate and everything when I sourced these, and they were around 35 to 40, but I could not fetch that amount. I paid $10 for them, which is why I made sure to look up comps and everything, because $10 is kind of a lot for a pair of jeans. But it did not pan out. These only sold for $20, making my profit $5.20. And these took 142 days to sell. So would definitely not pick these up again. Like I said, I'm being very, very, very selective with Madewell jeans. I've come across several Madewell pairs of jeans these past several months sourcing, and I haven't picked up basically any of them. I am holding out until I find like a pair of flare leg or wide leg, and even then, if it's like a size 2 and under, I'm probably not going to get it. All right, we have another crappy sale, y'all, but these small, small sales add up. So this is a Chaps Red multicolor whimsical fit and flare summer short sleeve mini dress size XL. In my description, I put the keywords lightweight, breathable, vacation skater dress, floral, and short. There was a tiny hole near one of the armpits, which was probably from a tag. Oh, no. Maybe it wasn't from a tag, but I did make sure to include a picture of it. And because I noticed that hole, I drastically decreased the price. And then I kept lowering it every time I relisted this dress. So I paid $2 for it at the Goodwill outlet, sold for $9, making my profit $4.84. And this took 242 days to sell. But I'm happy I made my money back and happy to say goodbye to that piece. I do think that Chaps dresses can do well in the wintertime, but they have to be midi to maxi length, I think, not mini length. All right, this sale is actually pretty good. Not super high dollar, but I would consider this a pretty good sale. This is a Smart Wool, a light pink merino wool seamless racerback sports bra size medium. In my description, I put the keywords neutral, sporty, workout, fitness, and outdoor. I also got this paragraph from a website that was selling this bra. This bra, the padding had been taken out, and there was an area where some stitching was coming undone. But I got this for $2 at the Goodwill outlet. It sold for my full asking price of $18 in 4 days, making my profit $11.68. And what's crazy, you guys, is that this thing I feel like was in kind of bad condition. Go look up on eBay the sell-through rate of Smart Wool bras. It's insanely good. Insanely good. They don't sell for a ton, but like the sell-through rate is like amazingly good for Smart Wool bras. So keep an eye out for Smart Wool bras. And that was just like hiding in a bin. All right, another mid-dollar sale. This is a vintage Shane light blue 100% wool ribbed knit long sleeve sweater size small. This is another thing that I bought to that most recent market where I sold nothing, and it sold. So that's kind of exciting. In my description, where is my description? Oh, there we go. I put the keywords winter, warm, outdoor, minimalist, preppy, retro, classic fitted base layer. So this was marked as a size 14, but it measured as a size small, so I listed it as a size small and then just mentioned that it was marked as a size 14 for clothing pieces, especially vintage clothing pieces. If it says one size, but it clearly looks like another size, I will list it as the size that it looks like and measures as, because I want it to sell, right? So I listed this as a size 14. It probably wouldn't have sold because people will look in the search bar, size 14, pull this sweater up, and it'll be way too small for them. So that is a good tip, and I highly recommend that you do that as well. But yeah, I paid $2 for this sweater, sold for $15, making my profit $9.40. This took 354 days to sell. So kind of yikes. And this next sale I was going to talk about, but I don't think I want to waste time on it. It is just this Reformation mini dress. I sourced it from Depop, and I previously had bought 2 Reformation dresses from Depop for like around 30 to 35, and I flipped them on Poshmark for 60 to 65 very, very quickly. So I made like a $15 to $20 profit. So I was hoping to do that when I bought this dress like a year ago, but it did not sell. I originally listed it for like $100. It ended up selling for $32 and I paid $35 for it. So I lost $10.68. and it took me 429 days to recoup some of my money. So, yeah, that was a fail on my part. So I did lose some money there. But let's skip on to this really good sale. This is a soft surroundings brown, colorful boho whimsical 3/4 sleeve sheer blouse size 2XL. In my description, I put the keywords bohemian, fairy, flowy, casual, and festival. This blouse, I saw at the Goodwill outlet and it intrigued me. I thought it was beautiful and I could tell it was a plus size. And I thought, this looks like a soft surroundings piece. But the tags had been cut. I did an Google image search and turns out it is a soft surroundings blouse. So I just measured it, listed it for $25. It sold for my full asking price in 4 days, making my profit $17 because I only paid $2 for it. So that was amazing. And then I'm going to skip a few sales. I did write down the research for every single sale I made within this week, but we're going to skip over a few sales because I don't want to waste your guys' time. I do want to talk about this pair of leggings because it's very interesting to me. So this is a pair of Offline by Aerie black OG fold-over super flare high-rise leggings, size large, long. In my description, I put the keywords athleisure, sporty, lounge, neutral, travel, on the go, closet staple, and wardrobe basic. What's interesting is that these only retail for like 42 or 45, but I listed them for 24 and they sold for my full asking price in 36 days. I paid $5.50 for them at Ross. And so that makes my profit $12.74. And that's a really good sale in my opinion. When I got these home, there was like a little string which I had saw, but then when I cut it out, it left like this little hole, but it was on the fold over part. So I don't think that affected it too much. And it was also a size large, long. So anyway, really happy that this sold. And yeah, I would definitely do that again. That was amazing, especially because with the cost of shipping and the price that I charged, the person paid about the same amount that Aerie is charging for these exact same leggings on their website right now. All right, I am going to talk about this sale. So this is a Talbot's Kelly Green Argyle Preppy Gemstone Cashmere Blend Cardigan size medium petite. In my description, I put the keywords school, teacher, business casual, academic, feminine, and clueless vibes. You know the movie Clueless? She has like that, I think it's yellow and black, but this reminded me of that piece. I paid $6 for this. It only sold for $20, but it sold in 2 days, making my profit $9.20, and I made that in 2 days. I don't usually pick up the brand Talbot's in a size medium, but this style was so freaking cute, very on trend, and it was 5% cashmere. So there is that. We'll definitely pick that up again. And then I sold this top, which is a logo Lori Goldstein blue printed cotton slub knit artsy or neck artsy shirt size 4X. In my description, I put the keywords going out, comfy, casual, mature, feminine, and modest. The fact that this was a size 4X definitely helped it sell. I paid $5 for it. It sold for my full asking price of $25, and that makes my profit $14. It only took 9 days to sell. This top was very beautiful, and yeah, like I said, it being a size 4X definitely helped it to sell pretty well. All right, we're going to skip a few more sales here, and we're going to talk about these jeans because this is a really good brand that I have never found before, and it sold in a very timely manner. This is a pair of AYR medium wash, the pop, casual, cute, everyday, mid-rise cropped jeans, size 25 short. In my description, I put the keywords neutral, going out, and trendy. So these had a lot of bad factors to them. They were from the brand AYR, but they were a size 25 and they were a short, which I don't know if it being a short inseam helps or hinders it. But I did specifically, look up the style, the pop AYR jeans on eBay, and the sell-through rate and average sale price was really good. So I did buy them for $7 and they sold for $42 in 1 day, making my profit $24.92. And then This video is already getting kind of long, so let's just do 2 more before we end this video. I sold these Vionic slip-ons. These are a pair of Vionic black tan leather orthopedic or orthotic platform slip-on Tropic Hayden sandals size 5. In my description, I put the keywords slides, minimalist, and casual. I paid $5 for these. They sold same day for $24, making my profit $13.24. These were only a size 5 too, but they were in flawless condition, and yeah, the buyer definitely got a deal. And then last sale we'll go over today is a sale from a Bolo brand, major Bolo brand, even in their kids' clothing. This is a Dale of Norway boys blue, white red, 100% merino wool Winterland sweater size 4. In my description, I put the keywords preppy quality and winter, and then I got this little few sentences directly from Dale of Norway's website. They actually still have this exact sweater on their website. So it's a recent style, and I think it's listed for like $148. Crazy. I had gone to the kids section at Savers this thrifting day, and I was keeping an eye out for like vintage Oshkosh or like themed characters embroidered on clothing that was vintage. But then I saw this sweater, felt it, could tell it was nice from a mile away, saw the tag, and I was like, shut the front door. This is Dale of Norway. I've never found this brand before. I paid $7 for it. It sold for an offer of $37.50, which was an offer that I received and I accepted, making my profit $21.50. And this only took 17 days to sell. I do believe it could have sold for my full asking price of $50, but $37.50 was a good offer in my opinion. Would definitely pick this up again. But yeah, that is it for the sales today. I did skip over quite a few sales on eBay, but this video is already getting pretty long and a lot of those sales were pretty mid. So anyway, thanks for tuning in.
That is it for this what sold video. Thank you so much if you stayed until the end of the video. If you're not yet subscribed, please click that subscribe button, pushing my way to 2K followers. Hopefully, I'm definitely not going to hit that goal by the end of the year, but maybe by February. So that'll be the goal. And then give this video a thumbs up, share with your friends, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.